A few years ago, I took a walk along the banks of the River Thames in London, where the river is kept penned in by great stone and steel and concrete walls, but the buildings and parks are beautiful. Not long into my walk, a bright green bird flew past me, squawked, and gave me a wary look with its beady eye. Got a nut, it seemed to say. Goodness me, I thought someone has lost their parrot, so I asked the very next person that I passed, an elderly gentleman who looked as if he was local, whether he knew of anybody who'd lost a parrot. Green, was it? He said. I nodded. I'll be a ring-necked parakeet, mate. Here, take a pew, he said, and sitting down on a bench, he proceeded to tell me this amazing story. When I was young, he said, the parakeets was popular as pets. They were intelligent, see, could learn quickly, were proper chatty. They took the hind leg off a donkey if you trained 'em right. But living in those little cages with only little old ladies for company didn't suit one or two of them, you see. There were escapes. All it took was someone to forget to close the window while they were cleaning the cage, and the parakeet would be out the window like a shot. Now, a bright green bird in London at that time was like a sore thumb. There was none of your gas central heating. Every house had a coal fire, and coal makes smoke. Smoke turned every building black. Black buildings, grey pigeons, little dark brown sparrows. So a bright green bird was something special. Now, most of those escaped parrots, they die pretty quick. But I heard tell there was one that really used her noddle. Her what? I asked. Her noddle, her head, her mind, her eyes, everything. One super observant bird, that was. See, she'd escaped from her owner and found herself the brightest thing in this strange, cold, black, smoky city. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to find food. She didn't know where to keep warm. She couldn't see a single bird around who looked like she did. Nearly scared to death she was, as well as frozen and hungry. But she didn't lose her head. I must watch these grey and brown birds and see what they're doing. They must be able to find food and shelter. And she watched the grey pigeons and sparrows for 2 whole days, pecking and pecking at crumbs on the floor. But though she found out where to roost at night, she didn't have the beak for pecking bits up off the floor. Half starved she was when she came across a pair of long-tailed birds with white breasts and glossy black wings that kind of sparkled green and purple in the sunlight. Magpies they were. Well, they weren't pecking, they were searching, they were looking. And the poor old parakeet watched them avidly, looking under things they were, looking behind things too, and cocking their heads to the side and looking up high as well as looking on the ground. Well, these magpies, they were a match for the intelligent parakeet, and within 10 minutes they turned round to her and said, "Are you following us? Because there's a charge, you know." And they both laughed in that magpie way. Ha 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 ha. That parakeet screwed up her courage, and she said straight out, yes, I was following you. Actually, you see, I'm new here and I don't know how to get food, and my beak won't peck like those grey and brown birds. The magpies looked at each other. "It's all right," said one. "We were only kidding. Stick with us and we'll show you a bit about." "This here is a bin," said the other, becoming all pompous like. "Now you can't see the food in a bin, not just by staring at it. This is how you look in a bin. First you look under it to see if anything has dropped down." And he ducked his head right down to look under the bin, turning his head left and right so that his beady little eyes didn't miss anything. "No, nothing today." Then you look behind the bin, next to the wall, to see if there's anything there. And he hopped right round the bin and came out the other side and swallowed. "Nothing there," he said. "Well, nothing for you anyway." Then you look up high," he said, and tilting his head to the side so that his left eye could see all the way to the top of the bin. "Because," he said, "the best treasure is always found right up high." With two flaps, he was up on top of the bin, and the parakeet heard his voice become a bit muffled and metallic, as if he'd actually got into the bin itself.
"Just got to look under these bits of paper,"
he called, as pieces of newspaper and empty wrappers flew out of the top of the bin and floated down to the pavement.
"Bingo chips!"
A chip landed in front of the parakeet, and though she'd never seen one before, she picked it up in her claw and passed it up to her beak and wolfed it down. And so that parakeet stayed with the magpies, and they showed her how things worked, and I dare say she showed them a thing or two as well. And would you believe it, before the year was out, lo and behold, another bright green bird turns up on the magpie's patch, another ring-necked parakeet, and this one was a boy. And before you knew it, she was teaching him all about how to look for food in London, not just scanning around, but looking up and looking under and looking behind everything. Well, soon enough the two of them were making a nest together for their eggs, and the rest is history. I'm pleased they've come, finished the old man. They brighten the place right up. And I agree. And whenever I start to say I can't find it, I think of that ring-necked parakeet and the magpies, and I try again.